Iran's President Masoud Pezeshkian has nominated Abbas Araghchi as the country's foreign minister. Here's a look at who he is. Born in 1962 in Tehran, Araghchi served as the Iranian deputy foreign minister from 2017 to 2021. He was the chief nuclear negotiator between Tehran and world powers from 2013 to 2021. He was involved in all negotiations until the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action was signed in 2015. And he built his career as a diplomat, where he served as an ambassador to Tokyo and Helsinki. Currently, Araghchi is the secretary of Iran's Strategic Council on Foreign Policy. Joining us from Iran is Mohammad Marandi, who's a political analyst at the University of Tehran. Mr. Marandi, welcome back. What's your reaction to this appointment?
I think Dr. Araghchi would be considered a safe pair of hands. His public persona is that of a quiet, professional diplomat. There's no footage of him screaming and yelling or insulting people or insulting foreign leaders and here and there. He's sort of like Dr. Amir Abdullahian, Dr. Raisi's foreign minister, quiet but professional.
I wonder if you can just kind of put this into context for some of our viewers who may not be aware, but how much power does the foreign minister actually have in Iran? Because we know that in Iran, the supreme leader is the ultimate decision maker, especially when it comes to issues of foreign policy, including, of course, the nuclear negotiations, relations with the West, and so on.
Well, one of the positive aspects is that many criticize Dr. Zarif because of the shortcomings of the JCPOA, because immediately after it was signed, the Americans failed to implement their side of the bargain, and increasingly they violated the deal. So many people criticize Dr. Zarif for those shortcomings. No one blames him because he was not in charge of the file. And he is seen as a centrist, so I'm sure that he will be reflecting. He's not a controversial figure, but he will be important. He will be a member of the Supreme National Security Council, of course, assuming that he gets a vote of confidence, which I think he will. He will be a member of the Supreme National Security Council. He will be the president's most important advisor when it comes to foreign affairs. He has a very good relationship with all of the different branches of state. So again, I think he would be considered a safe pair of hands. There's no controversy surrounding him. There's no media, like a video of him where he's insulting a foreign leader, or there's no videos of him. He's known to be very quiet and professional. Right,
but of course the region is on edge, with some anticipating a possible retaliatory response from not only Iran, but Hezbollah, of course, to the assassinations of Ismail Haniyeh and Fuad Shakir. How will the foreign minister Araghchi deal with this tense political landscape?
Well, it is a major challenge, and it is a transition period in Iran. He's not yet the foreign minister. It'll take a few days, but there is a consensus that Iran has to respond to what the Israeli regime did. In April, the Iranians struck the Israeli regime to create deterrence, and that deterrence lasted 2-3 months. But obviously, the regime hasn't learned its lesson. There's a consensus in Iran that the Israeli regime has to be punished in a way so that this does not happen again, especially since the West supports the Israeli regime no matter what it does. And whether it's the genocide in Gaza or whether it's at the UN Security Council. So Iran is forced to take this choice, and the foreign ministry will try to do its best to coordinate with allies and friends in the global south, Asian powers, and neighbors. But ultimately, this escalation has been brought about by Netanyahu. Iran will have to respond, and if the Israeli regime strikes again, Iran will hit it back even harder. So the root of the problem is in Washington. They have to yank on the leash of Netanyahu to prevent this from spiraling out of control.
All right, Mohammad Marandi, thank you so much for joining us from Tehran.
Thank you.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.